Reds travelling to Newcastle on Wednesday to take on Newcastle, which is going to be a difficult enough game, to be honest with you. I'm here to give you my score prediction, my starting 11 prediction, and everything in between. But as always, this show is brought to you in association with our sponsors, Boyle Sports, without whom we wouldn't be here. If you're going to have a little flutter on the game, firstly, do what I do, which is use one of the fantastic things that Boyle have at your disposal, which is the Opta Stats. When you're putting any bet on with Boyle Sports, they give you the option to have a look through the Opta Stats. It's one of the great initiatives they have on the site. So again, if you are going to have a flutter, we urge you to gamble responsibly. There is a link in the description if you'd like to sign up to Boyle Sports. And let me start out with my prediction. So my prediction for the game, folks, is this. 2-0 to the Reds. There you go. If you fancy backing my prediction, you can get that at Boyle Sports at 6-1 right now. And again, I've got another one on this as well. My other prediction for the game is Craig's bet for the week is Liverpool, a penalty to be scored in the game between Liverpool and Newcastle. Regardless of who scores it, it doesn't matter if it's Newcastle or Liverpool. Those odds are 9-5 with Boyle Sports. If you fancy a little flutter on that one again, please do so responsibly. And when you sign up to Boyle Sports, lodge your first tenner, place your first bet. You will then receive at least one free bet, maybe even more, depending on whether in the UK or Ireland. And as always, our friends at Boyle Sports and myself do urge you to please gamble responsibly. So that's my prediction for the win, folks, is a 2-0. But let's get to the starting lineup, and then we'll talk through that and the reasoning why I went with this particular 11. So without any further ado, here's the starting 11. Right, ladies and gentlemen, obviously Alisson in goal, and I seen a brilliant thing put up on Twitter today. If you want to have a look, go to my Twitter account at Craig Houlden and you'll see what I'm talking about. Some gentleman put up a brilliant image of the save that Alisson made against West Bromwich Albion and the angle he had versus where Adrian's positioning was against Atleti in a very similar position in the Champions League, and it will just show you why Alisson is one of the best in the world. But anyway, Alisson in goal, Trent at right back, Robbo at left back. I'm backing Reece Williams to come in and partner Fabinho at the heart of that Liverpool defence. Midfield was a very difficult decision. I'm going to rest Curtis Jones, and I want to make something abundantly clear here. It is not because of what people are calling his major mistake against West Brom. The lad miscued a clearance that went for a corner. We could have still defended that corner. So all the blame should not lie with Curtis Jones for that one. Because yeah, he made a little error, but we still could have defended the corner. That's the important part here. Let's not jump on the kid's back. He's 19 years of age. He's coming on absolute leaps and bounds, and he's going to be a complete baller for this club. So please do not be having sly digs at him on social media or whatever. He made a little error, but let's not forget, we still could have defended that corner. But with that in mind, I think we should go a little bit different when we're taking on Newcastle. So I've gone for Gini Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson and Takumi Minamino to take up that attacking midfield role. Up front, Mane, Salah and Firmino. That doesn't really change. But again, let me just talk you through why I'm going for Takumi Minamino in that attacking midfield role. I think he's getting used to it. We've seen glimpses of him in that role. It's a new role that Jurgen Klopp is teaching him to play. I think maybe with the THIAGO coming back as well, trying to just help us to play through the middle a little bit rather than having to go to the wide areas like we do with Trent and Robbo. An awful lot, to be fair. Takumi Minamino has shown flashes of what he's capable of, but every time I see and hear Jurgen Klopp talking about Minamino, he's only praising him, talking about how well he takes in information, how hard he's working, how strong he is mentally. And I think the game against Newcastle will be a wonderful opportunity to give Takumi Minamino a chance to really have a pop at that attacking role. Now maybe Bobby could drop a little bit deeper and Takumi could play through the centre, or we could play Mane through the centre. Either way, I'd like to see those four as attacking options. People are going to say, Craig, what about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain? Again, it's a fitness thing. I don't think Chamberlain is there yet with regards to his fitness. So I think Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is a great option from the bench. Shaqiri as well is back in the squad. Another great option from the bench for the Reds. Curtis Jones could well come in and change the game as well. It's so difficult though, because usually midfield was a position where I used to talk about how many options Liverpool had. Right now, those options are getting less and less with injuries, but we're finally starting to get players back. I am as happy as anybody else to think that we're going to get to see THIAGO very soon. He'll almost be like a new signing in the January window. I know that's a bit cringe, but that's genuinely how I feel about it. Now, Newcastle are no mugs, particularly not at home. I'm not expecting to go up there and it to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. They're capable of making it difficult for us. And as we know, Liverpool's away form this season, quite frankly, has not been good enough. So we have an opportunity to start putting that right. The players will want to bounce back from what was a horrendous second half against West Bromwich Albion. We allowed West Brom to play themselves back into that game. We allowed them to gain confidence. Now, who's to blame for that? Partly the manager, partly the players. And what I say partly the manager is, I fully believe he should have implemented a change and made substitutions earlier on when he's seen that West Brom were starting to play their way back into the game. Now, I very, very, very rarely have anything critical to say about Jurgen Klopp. How can I? The man has brought us to where we are. But that's my genuine opinion. I think he should have made changes earlier. He was, of course, forced into the change for Joel Matip when he was taken off with a muscle injury. And we did see Reece Williams come in, but I still think that he and the players are going to want to just go on the front foot, and I think we need to start putting more and more teams to the sword, like we did against like we did against Crystal Palace, like we did against Wolves. That's the type of performances I'm wanting the Reds to have away from home. Yes, it's more difficult, but it can be done. And if we want to lay down a marker and let people know that they're going to have to really work hard to wrestle this title away from the Reds, then I think Wednesday night at Newcastle is the perfect place to start that. Again, I'm going for a 2-0 win for the Reds, and with Boyle Sports, as you can see, that is 6-1. So if you stick a tenner on that, my prediction of the score comes in, you could potentially stand to win 60 quid profit, or of course, you could lose your tenner stake as well. That's why I always urge you to just bet 5s and 10s. Don't go crazy, don't be putting on mad money, stuff like that. Ourselves and Boyle Sports just want you to enjoy the game, just want you to enjoy the fact that you have a little bit more interest in the football. And again, they're very, very positive about responsible gambling. It's something that they say over and over. When we first spoke to them, they were adamant that it is a very important part of what they do, and I'm proud to work with them. Connor's proud to work with them, and without the guys at Boyle Sports, without Emer, without Leon, who, by the way, you'll start to see back soon, because a lot of people have been asking me, where's Leon, Craig? What happened to the segment with yourself and Leon? He was away on holidays with the family. He is now back, so we should be having another section with Leon soon. And the good news is, folks, we're going to make that new section to include you, the viewer. So what we're going to do is have a winner stays on selection. So we're going to pick somebody out. They're going to give us their bet for the week. They'll get a tenner free bet if that wins, but also the winnings from that bet will go onto a charity. We'll hold it in a bank account for charity, and at the end of the season, all the winners' money will go to charity. And also, the winner stays on, so we'll have a scoreboard. So let's say, as an example, Joanne Fisher was the first one up, and Joanne gets 3 in a row right, makes 90 quid profit. That profit will go into the account, of course, to give to the charity at the end of the season. Joanne will get her free bets as she keeps on winning, and again, Joanne will go on the scoreboard. So then at the end of the season, we'll see who's gotten the most right, how much we can raise for charity. And again, massive shout out and thank you to our sponsors, Boyle Sports, for that one. Right, folks, that concludes the preview section of the show. Let me know what you guys think of my score prediction, my predicted 11, and what way you guys would like to set up. Really appreciate you watching, and up the Reds. Right, folks, apologies, that was just me having to do